This puppy seemed odd. While her siblings were all selling for $200, she was only $60. The husband was sure something was wrong, probably sick, but the wife thought they'd scored a deal. When they agreed to buy her, the seller looked visibly relieved, but the couple had no idea. This dog's problem was worse than illness. The moment they brought her home, she tore open an entire bag of dog food, and while the husband went to get a broom, the dog devoured it all, every last piece. Frustrating, but at least a good appetite meant she wasn't sick. The bigger issue? She hated being alone. Even though the husband prepared a cozy box with a blanket, the dog cried all night, making it impossible for him to sleep. Left with no choice, he took her to the garage and held her in his arms all night. But by morning, his pillow was shredded and feathers filled the room. He panicked. If his wife saw this after returning from her trip, she'd lose it. He cleaned up quickly and locked the dog in the storage room before going to pick her up, but he didn't know. This dog was terrified of thunder, and when the wife got home, eager to see their new pup, she nearly lost her mind at what she saw. The dog had completely trashed the storage room and even dug 3 huge holes in the wall. This wasn't Labrador behavior. It was more like a monster. But surprisingly, the wife didn't get mad. She just thought the pup was young and needed training. But their nightmare was only beginning. The dog began stealing the husband's clothes whenever his wife wasn't looking. It was exhausting. Every day, they were either chasing the dog or on their way to catch her. She kept growing, but her behavior didn't improve. If they took their eyes off her, she'd chew up the floorboards. Training her themselves wasn't working, so they turned to a famous dog trainer in town. This guy had a serious rep. When he said, "Go right," every dog obeyed, except this one. While the husband relaxed for a second, the dog dragged him straight out the door, embarrassing the trainer in front of everyone. He told the man to leave the dog with him. Under his command, no dog dared disobey, but as soon as he tried to make her follow orders, she broke free and bolted. The trainer pulled out his secret weapon. It worked. The dog suddenly turned around and ran back, but something felt off. Before he realized what was happening, the dog pounced and tackled him to the ground. The man rushed to stop the dog, but as a result, he got fired. Their mentor lashed out, calling the dog a disgrace to all dogs. Surprisingly, the wife didn't get angry. Instead, she laughed. They both knew the mentor never liked them anyway, but the dog's behavior had to be addressed. The wife suggested getting the dog neutered, thinking it might calm him down. The husband agreed, but on the way to the vet, the dog seemed to sense what was going on. He stuck his head out the window in protest, then half his body. The couple panicked. One wrong move, and the dog could be hit by a passing car. They wanted to pull over, but traffic was too heavy. The husband had no choice but to hold on to the dog's back half tightly, while the dog's front paws dragged along the road. Drivers around them were stunned. It was the wildest dog walk they'd ever seen. But all that time spent wrangling the dog cost the man dearly. He was an editor, and he'd lost all creative inspiration. Worse still, 3 years into marriage, the couple was still financially unstable, and having a baby seemed like a distant dream. The man even thought about giving the dog away, but then something unexpected happened. He wrote a column about everything that had happened with the dog. It went viral. Readers loved it. His boss even planned to promote him next month. From then on, the man spent more time learning about dogs and wrote more columns. Then came another surprise. His wife got pregnant. Excited, he bought her a necklace. But when they turned around, the necklace was gone. They looked at the dog and nearly fainted. The dog had half the necklace in its mouth. With a mischievous glint in her eye, she bolted. She dashed around the living room, dodging and weaving as the couple chased her in circles. Eventually, the man caught her, but the necklace was already swallowed. He was furious, but stayed up all night checking her poop, trying to retrieve it. It smelled awful, but the wife still happily wore the necklace to her checkup the next day. But then, something went wrong. The nurse's face turned pale mid-exam. Before they could ask what was happening, she ran out of the room. Moments later, she returned with a doctor. After several thorough checks, the doctor looked at them sadly and said, "There's no heartbeat." On the way back home, the wife didn't say a single word. Once they arrived, she broke down in tears. Even the dog stopped causing trouble. It quietly stayed by her side, trying to comfort her. To help her heal, the husband planned a spontaneous trip for the two of them. Before leaving, they left the dog with his cousin. But the moment they left, the dog went completely wild. Just as the cousin tried to feed it, the dog knocked over the entire bowl of food. It ate a lot and made an even bigger mess. Right after she cleaned up, it made another one. And while she was taking a shower, the dog barged into the bathroom and chased her all the way to the living room. After a long, exhausting day, she finally got ready to sleep. But it started pouring rain, and the dog wouldn't stop barking. At that point, she completely broke down. When she saw the dog chewing on a shoe, she didn't even care anymore. Not long after, the house was a total disaster. Just as the couple returned from their trip, the cousin stormed out with her luggage, fuming. She'd raised dogs for over 10 years and loved them deeply, but this dog was a menace in disguise. And when it heard her yelling, it barked right back, almost as if to say, "Don't let the door hit hit you on the way out. Fortunately, her suffering wasn't in vain. The couple had conceived during the trip. They hugged each other tightly, thrilled about their new beginning. But not long after, in the middle of the night, the dog became restless and anxious, as if it sensed something coming. It walked over to the bed and sat quietly, waiting. Moments later, the wife felt a sharp pain in her belly. Realizing what was happening, the dog jumped on the bed and woke the man up. Then together, they rushed to prepare the baby car seat. While the couple sped to the hospital, the dog stayed home chewing on a bone. Strangely enough, this time, the dog didn't cause any chaos. It just waited patiently at home. Soon after, it heard the sound of the door opening, and along with it, a brand new member of the family. From that moment on, the once rowdy dog mellowed out. When the parents were busy with work, it would stay quietly by the baby's side. 3 years passed, and the wife gave birth to a second child. They had to move into a bigger house, but with that came more stress. The couple was constantly overwhelmed, now with 2 kids and a mischief-making dog. Finally, after putting the kids to sleep, the wife lay down for a nap. But just then, the dog was drawn to a noise outside. Even though the wife begged it to stay quiet, the dog barked loudly and tore down the curtains. As the baby's crying echoed from the other room, she was on the verge of a complete breakdown. Just after she finally got the little one to sleep, the dog ran wild again and knocked over the older son. That was the final straw. When her husband got home, she demanded he send the dog away. He tried to reason with her, but she cut him off. Either he goes or I do. You choose. Left with no choice, the man had to temporarily leave the dog with a friend. But that night, when he got home, his wife apologized. She said it was just the anger talking. After all, the dog was part of their family. And in a family, you solve problems together. You don't run from them. He was moved. They decided to bring the dog back home the next day. Time passed, and the wife gave birth to their 3rd child. To support the husband's career, they moved to the countryside. Now the dog had become the kids' big brother. He wasn't mischievous anymore. Playing with the children became his favorite thing. Every afternoon, he waited by the road for them to come home from school. At night, he slept beside them, guarding them. But time spares no one. The dog grew older. He'd dig through the trash when he was hungry. He stopped barking, stopped responding to his name. At night, he didn't go upstairs anymore. He just lay quietly in the living room. He even ran out into a thunderstorm, which left the man completely stunned. This dog had always been terrified of thunder, so why would he do that? Panicked, the man threw on his raincoat and rushed outside to search. He looked everywhere, but the dog was nowhere to be found. Eventually, he found him, lying motionless under a tree. He didn't dare waste a second. He rushed the dog to the hospital. After what felt like forever, the vet came out of surgery. With the worst news, the dog's organs had completely failed. He wouldn't make it through the night. Heartbroken, the man walked into the room. He placed his daughter's favorite doll in the dog's arms. He gently stroked his fur, recalling all the trouble he used to cause.
Remember how we were always saying what a pain you are? You're the world's worst dog. Don't believe it. Don't believe it even for a minute. Because you know we couldn't find a better dog. You know what made you such a great dog is you loved us every day, no matter what. That's an amazing thing. You know how much we love you. Love you so much. More than anything. I don't know.
Then he bent down and gave the dog one last kiss. This was family, 15 years together. To ease his suffering, the man asked the vet to help him go peacefully. As the medicine took effect, the dog used the last of his strength to open his eyes, look at his owner one final time, and then slowly close them forever. Back home, the family held a funeral. They gave the dog everything he'd ever loved, including the necklace he once swallowed. Yes, this dog was a troublemaker all his life, but the one thing he always got right was how deeply he loved this family. Maybe that's what a real dog family looks like.